The warm spring air was sweet with the scent of flowers. It was idyllic and calm. The sun was shining brightly as you sat at the back of the class, your face staring at an empty schoolbook, not even listening to the monotone voice of your teacher. Lazily you flicked through the pages, while occasionally looking outside at the cherry blossom trees spreading their pink petals everywhere. From somewhere you heard music quietly playing in the background. Some elevator music level piano piece. You couldn't wait for the bell to ring. For a while now you had been stuck in the routine of waking up, going to a joke of a school, meeting up with the others, and then separating to sleep only to repeat this the next day. Normally, you were all for a routine, but this was mind-meltingly numb. You needed some change, even if the new thing was something annoying. Out of seemingly nowhere, your teacher was suddenly next to you, in an angry pose. With a deadpan, you stared back at him. He was complaining about you not listening, which you returned in kind by flipping him off. And furiously, you were kicked out of the classroom with the disgusting words of delinquents. Now in the hallway, you scratched your chin, deciding the best course of action would be to look for the others, specifically your senpai. You had a crush on him for a long time, and quite frankly, you never got the chance to tell him you admired him the most out of your group. But as you quietly made your way to the classroom of the upperclassmen, your face turned red. Looking through the windowed door, sitting there, leisurely, with another girl draped around her shoulders. Not even the teacher was saying anything about it. Then again, your senpai was the best delinquent the circus had ever seen. Wait, it was then that you took a step back, rubbing your face like you had just come out of a daze. Such a weird feeling had overcome you. Looking back at Jax, you furrowed your brows, making hand motions at the window until he finally noticed you. Leisurely, Jax now stretched himself. Well, teach, I'm bored. I'm gonna go outside. The NPC teacher just grunted before continuing his lecture, as if that was normal. Though, of course, the lecture was him just making various word-sounding noises, similar to an Animal Crossing character. There were no real lectures here in the digital circus. This wasn't an edutainment show. Jack stepped outside, hands in his pockets. He actually looked pretty cool in the black student uniform, though you knew once the adventure was over he would return to his pink overalls. Sup? You've been dancing outside here like a monkey for like 10 minutes. Jax, it happened again. You admitted. What happened again? Being swept up by the adventure again. Ugh. Jack sighed. Just how can you remain normal like this? After another sigh, Jax placed a hand on your shoulder as he began walking with you. Look, Zigzag, I normally don't do this, giving tips, being nice is just really not my thing. So, remember this. It's okay to get lost in an adventure as long as you remember this isn't the real world, and that you will eventually return to the main circus part. Alright? The two of you stopped next to a window. I mean, take this for instance. He pounded the glass with his wrist. This should be showing what's behind our school, correct? You nodded. What does it show? Just a white void. Just a white void. You crossed your arms. Just because some adventures are more immersive than others, doesn't mean you gotta follow them to a T. With a smug grin, he pinched your cheek. After all, I would hate seeing that ugly mug of yours burst into black pixely liquid. Flustered, you grabbed his hand. The way I see it. You let go of him, which made him lean against the wall. We've been given no instructions. We've been here for 3 weeks. Maybe more. My mind feels foggy. And we still don't know what we're supposed to do here. The school bell suddenly rung, and the NPC students began leaving their classrooms for lunch. Come on, let's eat something. I will get you some new thoughts. The last time you had lost yourself in an adventure was during a ghost hunting one. You had gotten so well into the role of a ghostbuster that you genuinely were sad when the adventure was over. You even cried about it. After all, Ghostbusters, specifically Ghostbusters 2, was your favorite movie. And being ripped out of a colorful New York filled with even more colorful ghosts, all of a sudden being back into the sensory overload of the digital circus, that was difficult to bear. At lunch, you met with the others, minus Jax, who had moved to a different table with the same NPC girl as before. She was some orange-haired anime chick. According to Jax, the NPC believed to be his childhood friend, and she got super upset the last time he put the others over her. It was creepy, and he was afraid for his life. But then again, despite knowing this was all fake, your feelings of jealousy weren't. Inside the digital circus, you had become Zigzag. You had the appearance of a Disney fairy. You were short, had blonde hair and blue eyes, white skin that had a very slight yellow glow to it, and a pair of see-through butterfly wings that might as well not even be there, as they didn't have any collision. It was something visual that just poked out of your back, clipping into your clothes, furniture, and even the bed you slept on. You genuinely didn't felt them. Occasionally they flapped, but that did nothing. You called it your idle animation. Normally, you wore a green ballerina suit that was super tight, but looked great on your small, thin body. Though that was not replaced by the school uniform of, and that made you sigh whenever you walked past the sign, a Cherry Blossom High in the town of Japanville. Kane might have great ideas for adventures, but names really weren't his strong suit. Heck, the school nurse was named Maiwa Ifu. Whoever told the ringmaster about anime genuinely needed to get beaten up. As you stared at Jax and his acquaintance, the others were eating their food quietly. As a matter of fact, Ragathon and Zubul seemed to be quite happy to be here. Zubul, because as a fellow delinquent she could come and go and do as she pleased. And Ragatha, because she finally had found an adventure where she could keep up her schedules. It was like she had the same problem you had, just rather than leading to abstraction, it was the opposite. She was just smiling and loved theorizing about stuff, about this fake world with the others. It was like she was a different person. Again, very similar to you, just not in a bad way. Pomni and Gangle were anxious because they were afraid of what the adventure part of this adventure must be. Every day that passed made them more anxious. Pomni spent most of her time looking for the tiniest changes in the outside. The students and teachers. Gangle, sad little rope that she was, encouraging her by being super worried about any new theory Pomni had. And Kinger? Kinger was just happy to be included. You sighed sadly, suddenly. Something wrong, Zigzag? Asked Pomni with a quiet voice. You bit your lower lip. It happened again earlier. I really need to get out of here. Everyone at the table knew of your little issue of getting too into adventures when they took too long. How did it feel? asked Ragatha curiously. I got really mad seeing Jax with that NPC. Really, really angry. And in my head I called him Senpai as well. I hate it. Girl, you got issues, chuckled Zubul. But Ragatha interjected. Zubul, it's this school. It's screwing with our minds. And someone like Zigzag is more affected by something like that. And stop treating me like I'm nuts! You interrupted Ragatha with a shout before jumping up, turning away, crossing your arms. We're not... Shh, 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 shh. Kinger pressed a finger on Ragatha's mouth. She's feeling it, he muttered. What are you talking about? She's feeling the adventure. She's the one who will get us out of here. Thankfully, by the time the chess piece said that, you already had stormed off and were out of earshot. What do you mean, Kinger? Asked Gangle, concerned. Mean what? He tapped his fingers together, his train of thought already having left the station. It was night. Cicadas chirped outside, and you lied awake in bed. The nights in this stereotypical borderline racist depiction of Japan weren't long, roughly 4 hours. Just enough for a nap that was both too long to be just a regular nap and too short to be classified as sleep. Though that didn't matter much, as in the digital circus, feeling tired was quite a temporary state of being really only present for about 30 minutes after exerting oneself. But as you lied in bed, eyes wide open, unblinking, you cracked. Throwing the blanket away, you walked downstairs past your mom NPC, who was watching static on the TV with a glazed expression, not even reacting to the fact that you were still awake. Her eye taking over in the morning to make your breakfast. In the kitchen, you grabbed a large knife. The girl was an NPC. There was no need to feel shame or anything. And Senpai would then come back to you. You blinked. No, wait. Jax would come back to you. To you and the others. It would be, like normal. It would be like he could figure out how to beat the adventure, yes. Slipping in and out of your role as an obsessed high school girl, you made your way to your rival's house, where you used a flower pot to smash open a window in her garage. Breathing heavily, you climbed inside, cutting yourself on a piece of broken glass, but at this point you didn't feel the pain anymore. Not to mention, the circus would probably heal it in a couple of minutes. You stepped into your rival's house. To your surprise, it was just a white box. The NPC was A-posing on the ground, with her eyes closed. Clearly, Kane never intended anyone would ever enter this building. You took a step forward. The floor sounded like you were walking on glass, but at least it wasn't as slippery. Holding the knife, you stepped next to the sleeping NPC. Your face twisted into a grim smile. I'm doing this for us, Senpai. You slapped your face. No, I'm doing this for Jax and to get us out of here. However, your monologue was interrupted by the NPC waking up. Her eyes looked at the knife, then to you, horrified. She was wondering why she couldn't move, even though the explanation was simply that she wasn't programmed to be awake at this hour. And she was forced to watch as you knelt down on top of her, in an almost intimate position. She could feel the heat of your body, smell your scent. and with your long hair blocking out everything else but you. As your eyes met, your teeth appearing like those of a shark, as you grinned, the visage of death itself, almost. A second later, the noise of tearing flesh, a knife slicing through skin, echoed through the room. A pain sharper than anything the NPC had ever felt before flowed through her body. Over and over and over and over and over, you brought the knife down. Digital hot blood splattering around the white furniture-less room, painting the walls of the white cube red. But eventually, as the life in the anime girl's eyes left, the scene around you changed drastically. The sound of snapping fingers brought you back to your senses. You were kneeling atop a wooden stage of the digital circus. With a haunted expression, you looked over where the others were standing. You were drenched in blood, it literally dripping off your fingers. At least the knife was gone. Kane floated above you. Well, that certainly was an adventure and a half, eh? I had planned for so much more to happen. An entire year's worth of high school hijinks with a dark plot unraveling, but, Zigzag killed the plot twist, so, I had to stop the adventure. Jack suddenly burst out into laughter. Oh my god. Please someone tell me I wasn't the only one thinking that's how this is going to end. Right? I mean, it's obvious. I just didn't expect it today. He looked at the others. Huh? Huh? Come on. Really? I'm the only one? Zubul eventually raised one hand. Yeah, I admit, that girl got some issues. If not today, it would have been tomorrow. You're right, I twitched. How many times did you stab her? Asked Jax with way too much excitement and pride in his voice. Well... Awkwardly, the ringmaster shuffled in the air. I stopped counting after 20. She wanted her dead. You broke out in tears, hiding your face behind your hands. Can you please make the blood go away? You cried. It still felt so warm, so alive, as it dripped down your physique and onto the wood. Oh, yeah, I apologize, Zigzag, I forgot. One finger snap later, you were clean and in your regular green clothes. So were the others. Thank God. Kane, I'm out. Zubul grumbled. But, the reward, oh well, I guess we can do that later. Well, at least let me be the first to... Oh, hey guys, welcome back. I didn't know you were coming today, shouted Bubble. Kane's personal NPC had just left one of the various bathrooms. Defeated, Kane floated there, clearly enraged. Without saying another word, he then teleported away together with Bubble, leaving you alone with the others. You guys aren't afraid of me now, right? You sounded desperate. Oh, silly Ziggy. We can't die here, no matter how much we want to, chuckled Kinger. I know. I tried. I don't mind. I mean... Pomni looked at Jax. I'm not interested in him. Jax blushed. What? Really? Aren't I like the only hot guy around here? Yeah, I agree with Pomni, added Ragatha. Seriously? Come on, I'm hot! Jack's ego was hurt. I'm normally not like this, I swear. You were begging. What if, she was just... What if she just figured out how the adventure worked? Interjected Gango shyly. And blinking, you forced a smile. Yeah, I totally did that. I mean, just regular anime stuff, right? Just eliminated the Yandere before she could do anything. The others seemed to accept this excuse, and soon dispersed. Minus Jax. He was leaning against one of the giant decorating presents, watching the others leave. He didn't say anything until you walked past him. He grabbed your wrist and pulled you closer, making you blush. So, you'd even go over bodies for me, huh? His face came closer. I don't know what to say now. Oh, really? Jax chuckled, pulling you even closer. He kissed you. Suddenly. And surprisingly. Almost you felt as if your life in the circus had been over, but now it seemed like it had only just begun. Feeling his lips on yours was surprising, though calculated by him. He wanted to lessen the trauma you inflicted upon yourself tonight. Knowing that it is a circus, it would force you to remember this moment as often as possible. So maybe associating it with something nice as well would hurt you less in the long run. Not to mention, you were kinda cute, and he hasn't been in love with someone for a very long time. Not since he arrived here, and a relationship, that would be a nice little time waster. You felt his tongue penetrate your mouth, which made your toes curl and your wings flutter. Your heart raced. His tongue tasted absolutely delicious. It was so sweet, long and slimy, and gentle as it moved inside your mouth. Your eyes rolled back when you knew Jax was capable of doing this. And you let yourself be pulled in closer by his touch, ready to receive whatever else he was going to give you tonight.
Thank you to the people who are supporting me on Ko-fi. You guys are keeping me alive.
Special thank you to my lovely darling channel members Aruna, Chloe Rockenbow, Cherry Red Bunny, D's Nuts, Nicodemus D, Cat Cove, Kaya Abyss, BitBit, Zings X3, Melofia, Lavender Cheese, Muffin, A Simp, Hella, Nexorist, AJ Anime Girl, and Hopeful.